Hi, I'm Kate O'Hare, creator of the Pax Culturati blog at pathos.com. Hitting theaters on June 2nd, Padre Pio is a biopic of sorts of Saint Pio de Pietrelcina, an Italian Franciscan Capuchin friar popularly known as Padre Pio. Playing him is American actor Shia LaBeouf. Pio was renowned for his intensity, his spiritual gifts, and bearing the stigmata. In many ways, he was like his medieval forebearer, St. Francis, only Pio lived during the 20th century, dying in 1968. Filmed in actual locations in Italy where Pio lived, with an almost entirely Italian cast, the Padre Pio film takes place in the immediate aftermath of World War I. In his 20s, Pio is suffering through trials and temptation, mirrored in the local town where farm workers are caught between warring fascist and socialist factions. Directed and co-written by Abel Ferrara, an American, the film moves back and forth between Pio's struggles and those in the town. During preparation for the role, Shia spent time with Franciscan Capuchin friars in California, leading to his announcement that he was converting to Catholicism. The film premiered in September 2022 at the Venice International Film Festival. In the wake of that, Shia's conversion became big news, leading to a much-watched video conversation with Bishop Robert Barron of the Word on Fire Ministry. The following interview features Shia, Ferrara, and Brother Alex, one of the friars who became spiritual mentors to Shia and also contributed to the film. Without further ado, enjoy. Hi. So let's start with just a big question for Abel. What was your thought at the beginning, and did you achieve what you set out to do?
My thought was something is drawing me to him, the life I've led, the life he led. I'm instinctual about that. And I had a desire to understand them. The first way we go about, approaching a movie like this is we did a documentary about his life, which means simply me and the writer got in a car, with a little camera, and we drove from Pietrelcina, where he was born, to the house he lived, to the people that knew him there, to the people who knew his parents, drove the road he drove to get to San Giovanni Rotondo, went there, and we put together a documentary about it. A film I really like a lot that gave us our first step into who and what he was throughout. So from the moment I took on this gig, it's been nothing but it's been a blessing, man. It's been a blessing. The people I've met, the attitude I've gotten, what I've learned, my spiritual journey along the way too. I started, again, Shia started, I was early in recovery when it began this. It was something I really needed. And it just kept getting better, man. It just keeps getting better now. I mean, just doing these the process for me, the filmmaking process for me is a joy. It's a joy, really. And this one really was all that, because of the place we were there. We're in the actual place he was, the people around us, the friars there, the people in the town, the kids who were in the movie. My family was with me while I made the movie. Okay. Going to Venice, I've been in the film festival lots of times. I've never been one where everybody in the film, I mean, they came on their own dime, and these are like poor kids from, all over. They came. And then now this process, just doing these interviews, just hearing this, I need to hear it, man. I need to hear this. I need to see Shia. I need to see Alex. I need to have these questions posed to me. I have to again rethink, what it is, who I am, what it's about. Pio is the teacher. He is what you have to be. I have no doubt in my mind about the life I need to live. He lived it, in the most simple way, and in building a $35 million hospital. I mean, that might not be in a movie, but that's in us. I mean, he did big, big things. and he did small things, but he did them on a moment-to-moment, next right thing, out of compassion and love for, the people.
What's fascinating about Pio is that, like, his level, I mean, having the stigmata, his level of intensity was very medieval. And yet he was doing it in the 20th century in front of cameras and in front of everyone. So, so Shia, did you expect to become the story? Because you kind of did.
I mean, no, I wasn't thinking about outcomes. I was grateful to be working with a guy like Abel. I had fallen in love with Brother Alex. He became my roll dog. I was falling into the church, fell in love with Christ, learned how to pray, was finding big relief in the rosary, had built a real strong connection with the members of the church that I was attending in San Lorenzo, had found spiritual guidance in Father James and Father Bobby, was knee deep in RCIA, which I'm still in for the next 7 months till I get confirmed. Had reached out and had made contact with Bishop Barron. I had built a group of people around me that were holding me up. For a flawed man like me to fall all the way in love with Christ, it's almost a statistic. I almost have become like what I always railed against. It's almost cheesy how real it's become for me. And if I wasn't me and I was on the outside looking in, of course he had to come to Jesus moment. Of course, I get the rolling of the eyes from the nons or the non-believers or the atheistics. I understand because I was that. But it's what happened. And to deny it is not real. I mean, this saved my life. This isn't just a film for me. This was an opportunity to fall in and have an all-access pass to Franciscanism and Catholicism and the gospel and the church and Christ in a way that I've never, though it was available, I had never had the instinct or the compunction to do so. It was only when my narcissism was activated via being hired by a man like Abel Ferrara, who's on the 10 list of people that matter in terms of directors. And, when a guy like that calls, you sort of, you go for broke. If it had been any other director, other than the guy on the 10 list for me, I probably wouldn't have prepped as hard. But because it was him, the prep was it was all encompassing. It was full body. It was totally immersive. And when you embed yourself with a bunch of monks, Franciscan monks, it's a very attractive thing.
I don't know if you can see, but here's Francis looking over my shoulder.
There he is. Yeah. God bless that man.
He's my confirmation saint. He's my boy.
Makes sense. Yeah, you can't go wrong there.
My day job is for a company, production company, Family Theater Productions, which is run by, which was founded by a Holy Cross priest. So I'm all surrounded by Holy Cross people. So I always joke I'm the house Franciscan.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is a great
Holy Cross is diocesan?
No, it's the Congregation of Holy Cross. They're the ones that founded Notre Dame, and they have different universities. And so, yeah, it was Father Patrick Peyton who founded this company. He was a big proponent of the rosary. He's the rosary priest. He said the family that prays together stays together. So
then they're Dominicans. Yeah, they founded Notre Dame. They're Dominicans.
No. You get me in trouble. No, okay. they're just a separate order.
Okay.
They don't necessarily have the snazzy Dominican outfits.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a lot. But this is your story is such a great tradition, going back to St. Augustine, going back to Paul.
Yeah. I found a lot to identify with in Augustine's writings.
And Saint Paul was a bit on the other side, and he had a sudden turnaround.
Mm.
What is it about Pio in particular that spoke to you?
His ability to suffer quietly and patiently. And
You
that
see a lot of that in the world today.
And also that he had been ostracized and was a heretic. And you do see a lot of that in the world today. Absolutely.
Yeah. He's intense. He's not a fluffy bunny kind of guy.
That was also attractive. He was like a rock star of priests. You know, he would, you know, finish mass and the laity would run forward. Specifically, all the women of the congregation would run to the front of the church. You know, before I even understood anything about gospel or anything about the mass or anything about Catholicism, you know, for a young man to see something like that, he was like Mick Jagger. You know, to see women run forward, to rush forward, no calm, no diplomacy, none of that. Just, you know, full blown. He would activate something in the women of the church, men of the church as well. But there's video of women running to the front of the church, you know, to have him bless them. That hit me on a very animal level.
Yeah, when you see that kind of visceral response from people, it gets your attention.
Yeah, that and the idea that, you know, he was the mafia saint. You know, he was the criminal saint. He was the saint for the worst of the worst and the baddies. You know, that was also attractive in a way that Bukowski is attractive, or you know, he was attractive to me on multiple fronts. And had he not, I don't know if I would be a Catholic at this point.
So, Brother Alex, you get drawn into this actor world and movie prep world and Padre Pio world and movie world, and yet you're still ministering to a guy who's looking for answers. So what was all that like?
It happened all organically, very unplanned, very it's sort of like you're in a journey, but you don't know what's going to happen next. That's how it was for the three of us, really. Shia comes up to our church, Old Mission San Ynez. It's one of the churches that the Franciscans built back in the 1800s. And, you know, we take him in. He's coming to mass every day. He's interested in learning about Pio, but not only about Pio, but the faith. He goes into RCA. We teach him about the faith. And we bring him into another friars. He eats with us. You know, he's sometimes stays overnight a few nights in our guest room. And we're helping him and Abel look at the script and add stuff to it. Padre Pio's letters. And as we're doing that, you know, Shia asks me, you know, I want to continue with learning about the faith, and can I go with you? He's asked me, can I go with him to Italy while he films? And my provincial said yes, and then later on, I was asked if I could be in the movie, and then that was okay too.
Mind you, we have to ask for permission from the order. It's not like I can just say, "Hey, Alex, get a ticket, let's roll."
Let's go. Right.
We had to get it signed off all the way to the tippy top. We had to get it signed off on by every provincial. You know, Joseph Seraphin, who runs the order in California, the entire West Coast. He had to meet with me. He had to see that my intentions were clear, that I knew what I was getting into. Read the script, make notes on the script. It's not like you can just kidnap a monk.
Yeah, so all this happened on its own. Like, nothing of this was like, this is exactly how we're going to be doing things. A lot of this happened on its own, and it's all meant to be going on. We filmed on sets created in the sites that either Padre Pio lived in or he had visited. A friary nearby a Benedictine monastery. at St. Michael's Sanctuary and near San Giovanni Rotondo. Like all of this, even to think about it now, is like looking back. None of this happened just because we sort of planned it out. Myself working with Shia and the friars being a part of it in a way, and also the friars in San Giovanni that knew about this and were supportive of it. Like well, basically the whole order in a way was backing up the production of the movie. And me becoming the center stage of all of this, obviously there's temptations or like thoughts about this or that, but the main goal of all of this in my head was, we're putting something new out there for the world to know, that Padre Pio is a saint because of these events, particularly like when it led to the stigmata. Padre Pio, who we know now as one of the greatest saints in the church, this is who he was when he was in his 20s. And me becoming part of it and becoming part of Shia's life, like it's a great gift. That's all I can say. A great gift that I didn't expect.
I remember reading a biography of Francis. The author's name escapes me at the moment. He's actually Dominican who wrote it. And his last name was Thompson. But anyway, it was a lot. I just can't remember his first name right now. But it was a lot about Francis in his young years, in his 20s. And this was a guy who didn't know what he wanted, who went through massive changes.
He's a party boy.
This is a story he would understand 100%. Yes,
very true. Yeah, St. Francis, he had a major conversion when he was 25. Before that, he was all into partying.
He was a soldier. He was a POW for a while.
He wanted to do all these things to be famous, to be well known in Assisi, to be known as something. His whole life was to for people to know him, to be something. But at a certain point of his life, everything fell apart. Everything fell apart, hit rock bottom, and just started praying. Started praying, asking God, what's the purpose of my life? What am I meant to do? What's the point of why I'm here? Which then led to a supernatural event, and that the sun down me on the cross was talking to him, but then led to everything else that happened to Francis. But he had to hit rock bottom first to then be able to become the St. Francis we knew. Now, Padre Pio didn't necessarily have that, but he still had his struggles regardless as a human being. And if you read his letters, his personal letters that are a lot of it is in the movie, you see someone being tempted, having demons appear to him as naked women, struggling with his passions, struggling with his temper, struggling with his own temptations that continuously would want to drive him in the wrong direction. But because of the temptations, because of the sufferings, he became this great saint that we know today.
Well, Abel, when you're making this movie, you're sort of balancing Pio's story with the story of these Italian agricultural workers who were struggling to escape oppression and stuff. What was the balance you wanted to strike? Because a lot of times the stories are parallel. They don't intersect a lot. So what was the balance you were trying to strike between the struggle on this side and the struggle on this side?
I don't think about it. I wasn't even thinking about balance between these two things, because there were two realities. And what happened in that town, we researched it. And, you could come as close to the truth as you can to an event that happened 100 years ago, or an event that happened a month ago. But we did our due diligence the same way with Pio. And it was his life in the monastery was outside the town. He was still here in confession. His life was very, very specific and very real to us because it was written. We understood it. We didn't, like you say, we used the term sets, but they weren't sets. That was the room he was in. That was the church he served mass. Whether we would, the objects were the objects. They're there. What happened in that town happened. Nothing was made. I didn't feel like I was making a movie. I knew we were going to try to re-inhabit it. not reenacted, inhabit him, to feel him, for, in the process of making the movie, you get close to him, man. You could get so close to him and the people in that town because they were suffering with him.
Yeah.
He knew it. He knew it, okay? They knew it primitively. They knew it on a gut level, okay? They knew it. They were street smart. Pio had the gift of he was educated. He could write. I mean, that was a big gift. He gave us his writings.
Yeah.
We didn't have to guess, man. He's telling us those scenes. He told us what the scenes were. We had the guide there. We just had to be open and go for it. And so I don't see two parallel stories. This all happened in the same place, and one thing didn't happen without the other. And it wasn't this and that.
This and that. It's the very Catholic both and.
Yes.
So, Shia, what's your message for all the young people today that just are not in the least interested in religion, especially Catholicism, just walking away from it, being hostile to it? What do you want to say to them as a guy who's walked through this?
Yeah, I mean, I understand the ambivalence with it all, and that's because they've experienced mediocre pain. When you experience like full-blown supernatural pain, you really only have two choices. One choice is to off yourself. The other choice is to seek help. And what I found in Catholicism, as a person who loves a call sheet, who loves order, I would never get arrested when I was filming. I would never destroy my life when I was filming because I had a call sheet, I had order, I had direction. And that was really, I enjoyed my freedom inside of that context. And so what Catholicism has given me is it's given me order in order to enjoy my freedom, because what I had previous was just wandering through the desert. And to be honest with you, authoritarianism is preferable to just wandering around in the desert, even though you have ultimate freedom. And so I think a lot of the nons that exist just haven't experienced the amount of pain that opens you up to being able to receive faith. Kant says a very powerful quote. He said, "I had to give up on knowledge in order to receive faith." And the only way that you give up on knowledge is when all your plans have failed. And so, a lot of people still got a plan. They still got a couple of plans, even though they're in pain. And that's because their pain is mediocre. So, and I don't say this in a negative way or with any malice. I wish people profound pain, the kind of pain that allows you to open up to Christ and the love of this religion. It's the very literary religion. It's a religion for second chances and new opportunities. It's salvation for the lost. It's a relationship with a father. It's like coming back home. And I haven't experienced any of this Catholic guilt that a lot of ignorant people who don't know about the faith like to lambast the faith with, or the negative criticisms about the humanity that exists inside of the Catholic Church. I've experienced a totally different experience. And, I know I'm very privileged in that the way I entered the faith was I had an all access pass, and I was surrounded by like the tippy top in terms of like availability and know-how and life experience. So I was blessed in the way that I entered the faith, and the way I was seduced into my love affair with Christ. It was a full-blown seduction front to back, and I'm still in it. I guess my message to a non-believer would be, I wish you profound extended pain, the kind of pain that destroys all your plans, that allows you to open up to an incredible life full of joy and harmony and happiness and purpose and connection, unlike anything I've ever experienced before.
Would I have to guess who your confirmation saint's going to be?
Pio.
Yes.
Well, I think they're giving me the high sign, but thank you guys so much.
Thank you,
I
Kate.
can't wait to hear the reactions when everybody gets to see this.
Mhm.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Kate.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Gotcha. Yeah, June 2nd. I forgot to tell you.
Yes, sir.